Okay, so I want to start with something. I'm going to read you a quote, and I just want you to think about when you think this was said. Ready?
Sounds pretty familiar, right? I mean, it sounds like something you probably scrolled past on social media this morning, maybe next to a picture of a serious-looking robot. So, what are we thinking? It's another warning about AI? Yeah? Another prediction about how algorithms are coming for all our jobs?
Nope, not even close. Those exact words, that specific panic, it's from newspapers over 130 years ago. And they were talking about the terrifying new technology of electricity. So it turns out that anxiety you might be feeling about AI, it's not new. It's actually part of a very predictable, very human cycle. And today, we're going to unpack that original blueprint to understand what's happening to us right now.
So let's do it. Let's travel back in time to the 1890s. The whole world is lit by gaslight and it's powered by steam. And then, all of a sudden, this new force shows up. It's invisible, it's silent, and it's carried through this creepy web of wires. And people were, to put it lightly, freaking out. Their panic was really built on 3 core fears that are going to sound shockingly familiar. And this table, well, it lays it all out for us perfectly. The anxieties then and now, they fall into the exact same buckets. 1, is it safe? 2, do we even need this thing? And 3, the big one, what is it going to do to our jobs? So let's break down that original panic, piece by piece.
First up was safety. People looked at electricity as this completely wild, untamed force. Newspapers literally called it an unrestrained demon. And to be fair, they weren't entirely wrong. The early wiring was a mess, no regulation, and it caused real, deadly accidents. And this fear was juiced by none other than Thomas Edison, who, in a corporate war with Nikola Tesla, started a gruesome PR campaign where he publicly electrocuted animals just to prove that his rival's tech was too dangerous. Then you had the skeptics. For a lot of people, gaslight and steam power worked just fine, thank you very much. Why would they risk their lives and their money on this dangerous, expensive new thing that seemed like a gimmick for rich people? It was a real question. Was this new technology actually better than what they already had?
But the deepest fear, the one that really truly hits home for us now, was about jobs. For entire professions, the arrival of electricity felt like a death sentence. Think about it. Lamplighters, ice harvesters, skilled factory workers, they could all see a future where their entire livelihood was about to be wiped out by a force they couldn't even see.
And look, this wasn't just some vague anxiety. It was real. It was happening. In the glass industry, for example, a new bottle-making machine meant one single worker could do the job of 41 skilled glassblowers. 41! I mean, just imagine being one of those 41 people, watching your entire craft, your years of expertise, become worthless overnight.
And this wasn't just chatter on the street. This concern went all the way to the top. In 1927, the U.S. Secretary of Labor himself was warning Congress that new machines were destroying jobs faster than the economy could create new ones.
Okay, so let's jump back to today. As we walk through the modern AI panic, just listen. Listen for the echoes, because you're going to find that the script we're following is almost identical, from safety and ethics to whether we even need it, all the way to that huge, looming fear about jobs.
First, safety and ethics. That web of deadly wires from the 1890s, today, it's a web of inscrutable algorithms we can't fully understand. We worry about bias baked into the code, about deepfakes and mass surveillance, about autonomous weapons. We are asking ourselves the exact same question our great-grandparents did. Have we created another unrestrained demon that we can't actually control?
And then we get to the jobs. The numbers we're talking about today are just on a completely different scale. You know, where a factory in 1910 might have replaced 40 workers, economists today are predicting that AI could impact up to 300 million full-time jobs around the world. It's the same fear, just amplified to a global, staggering level.
But here's the really crucial difference. A century ago, automation was mostly coming from manual labor jobs. This time, it's aimed squarely at cognitive work, jobs that need you to think, to analyze, to write. The skills of educated white-collar professionals are now on the chopping block. And that makes the fear feel a whole lot closer to home for a whole new group of people.
And you know, this cycle of panic, it's not just about electricity and AI. Not by a long shot. This is a fundamental part of how humans react to innovation. It pops up with pretty much every major technological shift in history. I mean, just look at this pattern. Over 2,000 years ago, the great philosopher Socrates worried that writing would destroy human memory because people wouldn't have to remember things anymore. Fast forward to the 1890s, and there was a widespread moral panic that bicycles were giving women too much freedom, with doctors inventing a fake disease called bicycle face. This fear that new tech will break us or corrupt society, it's as old as civilization.
And we really have to talk about the Luddites for a second. We throw that word around today as an insult for someone who just hates technology, but that's not what they were about at all. They were skilled workers, and they were protesting how factory owners were using new machines to slash their wages and make their craft worthless. Their fight wasn't against the machines, it was a labor dispute about being exploited.
It all just goes to show you how ridiculously hard it is to see what's coming. One of the most brilliant physicists of the 19th century, Lord Kelvin, was absolutely certain that human flight was impossible, and he said that just a few years before the Wright brothers took off at Kitty Hawk.
So what's the lesson here? What does more than 100 years of technological panic actually teach us about this moment we're in right now?
Well, the core problem seems to be a failure of imagination. It is incredibly easy to see the jobs that are going to be lost. We can all perfectly picture the lamplighter or the data entry clerk whose job is disappearing. What's nearly impossible is to picture the jobs that don't even exist yet. I mean, nobody in 1890 could have possibly imagined an electrical engineer or a power grid technician. And today we struggle to imagine roles like an AI prompt engineer or whatever comes next.
Now, this doesn't mean the anxiety is wrong. The disruption is very real, and it's painful for the people caught in the middle. But history teaches us that the solution isn't to slam the brakes on technology. It's to manage its arrival. That means acknowledging the fear is normal and focusing on things like retraining, education, and building safety nets to help people navigate that change.
So maybe this is the big takeaway. Our collective anxiety, this widespread panic, it isn't a sign that the world is ending. It's a sign that we're on the edge of a massive transformation. You could say that these panics aren't a bug in the system. They're a feature of progress. That means something huge is just around the corner.
And yet, the multi-trillion-dollar question is still hanging in the air. Is AI so fundamentally different from electricity or the printing press that all these historical parallels just don't apply anymore? History would tell you that betting against human adaptation is usually a losing bet. But that's the question we all have to wrestle with now.